Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Anthony James Martin, the president of Norfolk County Championship Wrestling, and I am here with Drinking at Moe's.
This is Drinkin' at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also me. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin' at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin' at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
I've always said here at Drinkinatmos, just because it says drinking at Mo's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Mo's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee. The exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee, and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee. All right, everybody, welcome. Drinking at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff for the YouTube channel helps out there because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in my you-know-what. We're on most of the audio platforms too. Today, I'm excited to have with me the man behind Norfolk. Wow, words are hard today. Norfolk County Championship Wrestling. They got a big show coming up next month with we'll go into all of it. They got some great stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. And first off, thank you very much for having me on this evening. Other than sleep and eating, there's one more thing that I like to do the most in life. And of course, hanging out with my wife. But of course, the other thing other than that is talking about professional wrestling. So here we are.
Hey.
I'm
Oh,
looking
yeah.
forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing it with you. So beforehand, I see you have a drink in your hand. The show is Drinking with Mo's. I have a drink in my hand. So cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much again for having me on this evening. I'm looking forward to talking about some more wrestling, NCCW, and of course, you mentioned a big event that we have going on right here in Norfolk County in October. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm pumped up.
Oh, yeah. So, first thing I have everybody do when they first come on the show is what got you started as a fan? And then for you, what got you started with Norfolk County Championship Wrestling?
So first off, becoming a fan, it was at a very young age. I believe I was born in '85, so I
83.
remember watching. Oh, there you go. See, I remember watching wrestling in '88 when I was 3. So that was my first fond memory of just watching these larger than life uh, athletes at the time, characters to me, on the television with family, my dad, my grandfather, who watched it back in their days. And then next thing you know, it's more of a generational thing where it got passed down. And the first moment, typical cliche story, the first moment of seeing these larger than life athletes on the television, I just instantly became a fan in the way that the event was presented, the audience was reacting, and of course the story that was being told in the ring. Now I understand a lot more in today's day and age than I did back then, but I knew at the age of 3 I loved professional wrestling and have been watching it and paying attention to it and now promoting it. So there was one thing that really stood out. And again, like I said, I can't pinpoint exactly what it was, but collectively, all those things put together created a painting, created a vision, created a passion that it got me hooked on professional wrestling.
That is awesome. I much similar situation, although I think for me it was my uncle a late uncle of mine got me started, and then I'm one of the few people that still hung on to it from back then. But yeah, those larger than life characters, seeing the way the crowds would react to guys like, and we'll talk a little bit about tag team wrestling later, but
Definitely.
I've always been a fan of tag team wrestling. One of my favorites, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, seeing the way the crowds reacted to those guys, and then how my tastes in wrestling have kind of evolved from growing up where some of those like Big Boss Man was a favorite of mine, and then there was a guy that I remember watching back then when I was younger that watching back his stuff now, love him. Back then, he scared the ever loving crap out of me. But Bruiser Brody,
Oh, yes.
back when I was a little kid, scared the crap out of me.
Did
But
you watch a lot
now,
of his Puerto Rico stuff?
oh yeah, I've seen.
World Wrestling Council?
Oh yeah, seen a lot of that stuff. Watching that back, and then I, hands down to this day, I love the show Dark Side of the Ring.
Love
The
it.
episode on the situation with him, hands down, my favorite one out of every single one, for sure.
Love it. The
Now,
Dark Side's awesome. It's
oh,
great. And a lot of people that don't or didn't get the chance to watch that generation of wrestling growing up, or just wasn't a fan until modern day came along, or whatever it may have been, getting to watch that and reflect back on a lot of those episodes, um, it just opens a whole set of eyes, or like doors, and against, like what people missed out on back then. It's totally different today. And then getting that insight, what those guys do at Dark Side is really, really cool. Even if you were watching it back then, things that you didn't pick up on or notice or wouldn't have known unless you're like a true historian, or someone with personal knowledge about whatever situation or episode it was about, or
oh
athlete
yeah,
it was about. It's really cool to watch. I really enjoyed the Dark Side stuff too.
oh yeah. I kind of fell behind on it a little bit, but man, those there's some that are pretty. They're good, but they're a little harder to watch just because of the emotional aspect of like a couple. Well, not that recent, but there were some more recent stories that kind of had an emotional tie to them. If you were as big a fan of wrestling as you and I have been from, like the Owen Hart thing.
I'm gonna say Owen.
That I remember my first ever pro wrestling show I ever got to see. One of the matches was the Head Shrinkers versus Coco Beware and Owen Hart.
High energy.
High energy, yep. And I was a little third grader at the time and got floor seats right by the entrance for Christmas. And I was like, ah! Having Owen run by me, I'm like, oh my God. And then getting to see guys like Yokozuna, being a little kid, seeing that dude walking by me.
Monster.
Oh
Monster.
man.
Monster.
But
And at an older age, realizing that he actually wasn't from Japan.
yeah, oh God, when I
He,
finally realized that, I'm like, that was almost like a punch in the gut when you
right, right.
like, oh, really?
I remember in grade school we had our gym teacher actually brought in, side story. Our gym teacher brought in someone for our class that day. And it was a special class, and we got to wear like the blow up sumo suits and everything like that. And the guy was from Japan. I don't remember names, but I remember coming up to him as a, like I said, probably like a second or third grader, going, "Oh, yeah, do you know Yokozuna?" And he's looking at me going, "What? Who?" And then I was like, "How does he not know about this
Yeah.
this person? How does he not know Yokozuna? Everyone knows Yokozuna."
Oh yeah.
They even say on television that everyone in Japan knows who he is. But he's looking at me with confusion. And I remember going, well, that doesn't seem right. But it's just one of those memories that you remember.
Yeah.
or still hang on to, and especially with someone like Yoko,
Oh
who's so
yeah.
talented, especially for a man his size. Incredible things he was able to do in the ring.
Oh God.
But
Agile for such a big dude.
oh, definitely, definitely. You mentioned Bossman. He was on that list too.
Yeah.
But you remember just key moments that you remember as a kid, like you said, watching Owen walk by or Yoko walk by, and little memories like that. It's just
Oh,
something you hang on to forever.
oh yeah. Funny enough, Yoko and Big Boss Man actually were another match on that card that night.
Oh, there you go.
And before we'll go ahead and jump into the big show coming up. But before we do that, I actually got to meet one of the guys that was on that first show. And up top here, I have a bunch of my signed figures and stuff. Is I like to, I don't like to buy them already signed. I like having them and taking them to them.
Right.
Rikishi is Head Shrinker Fatu.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Got to tell them about him as Head Shrinker Fatu being in my first ever pro wrestling show I ever went to.
No, that's awesome.
So that was something fun for me.
If you don't mind me asking, were you more of a WWE New York guy or were you more of a Southern NWA guy? Or both?
Um,
I mean,
well,
up here in Canada, we had more access to WWE programming.
mm,
It was harder to watch WCW or NWA wrestling, which, in my opinion, at that point in time, was far superior than the more over the top characters that were presented in WWE. Even though, in my opinion, WWE's production and the presentation of these characters surpassed WCW and what they could do in terms of making them characters come to life and be more believable in the sense of being a superhero. But in ring, in my opinion, NWA had the far superior in ring action.
oh yeah.
What was your go-to when you were growing up, if you don't mind me asking you a
Well,
question?
oh no, by all means. For me, it was like I, looking back, firmly believe you there. But I kind of had the exact opposite when WCW was the programming that was a little more reliable growing up because WWE at the time was still kind of syndicated. So like, we picked it up, but then other times you'd go to try to watch it at the same time and it wasn't on. And WCW, we always had WCW Saturday night. And
Yep.
so I had the exact opposite, that where the other promotion was the one that was a little more reliable. So, although, I mean, back then, I'll admit, some of the over the top aspects were the stuff that drew me in. So I kind of leaned a little more towards that way. But,
Right.
kind of looking back and watching stuff now, I kind of, admire a lot more of the, in ring active, that sort of side of everything.
For
So
sure. Definitely.
kind of flip flopped a little there, but yeah.
Always the big dispute of Hogan or Flair. Who the big gold belt or the WWF championship. That was always fun. But again, like I said, most commonly we would have WWF program, WWE programming up here. So that was just again, like I said, the more the go-to. And of course, you always stick. It's like being a Leafs fan. You always stick with your team, no matter
Oh,
how bad they are on the ice,
oh
or
god.
how over the top WWF was. That's what you stuck by, and you kind of see that in modern day too. With
Oh,
WWE and now AEW, you have your people that like that type of wrestling, and you have people that like this type of wrestling and presentation and product. And a lot
yeah.
hasn't changed actually in the retrospect when you're looking back on it.
Oh yeah, looking back on it, it's definitely funny because yeah, I can see the similarities there. And then with the backing your team, yeah, let's just say, yeah, I've been there with like college football here in the States. My team, that my family, I got pulled into being a fan. They play about an hour from me right
Oh
now,
wow, that'd be cool.
and there's been season tickets in my family since there's a really long sellout streak in the stadium, like 400 some games.
Oh
And
wow,
my the season tickets has been in the family since that streak started.
that's cool.
And I get to go to at least a game a season, but it's there's been some rough years.
What team? What
Uh,
school?
the University of Nebraska Lincoln, the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
There you go.
We're getting better. We're getting better. We got a coach that has us off to a good start this season. So there's that, and then I'm also a big baseball guy. I'm
Okay.
I've been
Let's
a
see.
I've been a fan of the San Diego Padres ever since the days of like Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman and those guys. When I was in the Navy, I was actually stationed in San Diego, so I got to go to the games all the time. So,
Let's see the Savannah banana shirt.
oh yeah, I was actually.
I recognize that right away.
Oh yeah, no, hard to not recognize it. I was actually, well, what was it, a couple months ago now, where they, doing major league stadiums. They actually did the one in Kansas City.
Oh wow.
I was at one of the games with
Nice.
my one of my nieces and nephew and stuff from down there. So that was fun. Definitely an entertaining time, which I can guess that people that are going to be there next month for the show Clash on the Coast are going to have some great entertainment there because I've often heard a few different places do like on a weekend they'll do two shows, but it'll be one Saturday, one Sunday. Y'all are doing
Yes.
two in one day. Now you got, I think right off the bat, when you look at some of the promotional posters and stuff, some big names showing up. Al Snow, the Mountie. Like I remember him from growing up. Him and his feud with the Big Boss Man. I remember that. Oh, Donovan Dijak, former WWE superstar, and now doing his thing in MLW. You got people from NWA, you got EC3, people from TNA, Jody Threat, and a guy that I have met multiple occasions, and he's one of my favorites, Steve Maclin, a,
Maclin.
a fellow United States veteran. So got to support him. But dude,
For sure.
I remember I remember meeting him at a show where they had one of those, hardcore anything goes matches. And I was on the other side of the venue, and all of a sudden there was this loud crack, like almost sounded like a gunshot. Well, we find out after seeing some replays and stuff that he had about half a door that he just was swinging and just like right over and like that explains it.
Right?
But man, you guys, that is one hell of a lineup with just those names, not to mention everybody that's a regular part of your roster.
Yeah, it's really special. We fell into a great situation. It says it in our name, Norfolk County Championship Wrestling. Norfolk being the county that we live in, Simcoe being my hometown, Port Dover being 15 minutes away, and surrounding towns that make up Norfolk County unite together to create this amazing community that we all live in. And, for Norfolk, by Norfolk, as I've said a million times, and will stand by this, and I truly mean it, not just with my words, but with actions as well, is what this is all about. It's for Norfolk, everyone that works hard, takes care of their family, blue collar, hardworking, people in the community. We struggle each day on our own, individually, but when we get the chance to come to an economical live event where we get to be together, come together as a unit. We get to celebrate together as well versus doing everything alone. So For Norfolk, by Norfolk. I'm from Norfolk County. The team's basically from Norfolk County. So, it really goes hand in hand in what we offer and deliver. And if anyone started watching our shows back in April when we launched NCCW, you can see the growth and the relationships that we built, not only with the athletes that we bring in, the talent that we bring in, not only the local businesses, the people that attend the shows, but also our local municipal government. And this program, this event on October 25th, Clash on the Coast, is actually through a program called Amplify Norfolk. Now, in order for this to all come together, what essentially it does is it offers a grant that you would match in the amount that you get, and there's a specific increments or tiers that you would qualify for. And because one of the ward counselors that represent Port Dover, his name is also Adam, um, works with or is in association with, I guess I should say, or friends with, a board of trade from Port Dover, got this great idea. And the idea was for the board of trade to get this grant money to present something to Port Dover on an off season. If you're not familiar with Port Dover, this is where all the bikers come during the summertime on Friday the 13th. They
Mm.
all celebrate together. They not only come from all over Canada, but they come up from the States and everything like that. And it creates, again, another form of unity where multiple organizations in the world of bikers and everything like that come together and they have a great fun-filled day. And everyone gets to come and witness and watch and get to take part in a beautiful community called Port Dover, Ontario, which is more of a summer town. I wouldn't even say town. It is a port. And we decided to do something like this because fall time and winter time is usually an off season there, and the idea is to bring people to Norfolk County to get to see its beauty, not only just during the summertime, but the off seasons as well. And no better way to do that than ask me to host two events in one day, Clash on the Coast. Now, people from Port Dover will say, well, we're actually ashore. But you know what? The names sound better with Clash on the Coast. So this is how it
You
typically came about, like together. And this is how what enabled us to offer this opportunity for people to get to have these bigger names come in and mesh them in with our regular talent that everybody's gotten to know and everybody loves. Boo or chair.
Now I know, like I said, Maclin, favorite of mine. Dijak. Now you mentioned uh, before we started recording, there was a special deal that trained wrestlers can sign up for involving Dijak. Would
Yes,
you,
sir.
for those listening and those that heck might be in the area come time for the event, what do we got going on there?
So at the beginning of the day, again, off topic a little bit, but the schedule breakdown aligns like this. So in the morning around 10:30, we're gonna have people come into our venue, athletes that are available, due to flights, everything like that, driving in the night before, whatever it may be. We're gonna have a select number of athletes ready to go for a more or less an hour and a half meet and greet opportunity for the people to come in, whether you have a ticket or not. It's
Hey,
open to the general public, so it gives a bit of an eye opener that we're not just doing this to collect a little bit of money here and there off of every little thing that we have going on that day. Um, Obviously, there's expenses for the show, so but this particular part of the day is open to anybody and everybody that's just a pure wrestling fan or wants to come out and check out the vendors and of course potentially meet the talent that are coming in that you might not normally get to see in Norfolk County. Now,
that's awesome. Because you don't often see with regards to wrestling shows and meet and greets, stuff like that being done at not an extra cost to whoever. More often than not, it involves having to already have a ticket to the event. So to have, open to the public, anybody like, if there's other tickets that hadn't already been sold, like if you're not sold out off of a pre-sale, somebody comes to that meet and greet, they're like, well, I need to go check this out. And then bam, you got them drawn in right there.
exactly. And again, some people might not be able to afford the ticket, but they still want to experience and see what they got going on, maybe for a future date or another show down the road.
Oh
So
yeah,
we just
that
we
too.
just don't like to leave, we don't like to close doors on anybody. Everyone's welcome for that morning session there, which is great in my opinion. Again,
Oh,
it's eye-opening, and again, it's not all about making or generating money off of anything and everything that we do. Now, with that being said, after the meet and greet, we clear people out that do have the wristbands on because they have purchased tickets, and we prepare for the first event. And then once that event is finished, again, we'll clear everybody out. And the cool thing is we have a couple locations on site. One is going to be available for a Q&A for anyone that wants to attend a Q&A with the legendary Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie. That there is a minor cost to that. It's only $20 though to go listen and hang out with Jacques Rougeau and ask him a question for an hour and a half.
yeah, that's not a bad price for that at all.
Not at all. From what I've heard and what I've seen, Jacques loves to talk. He loves to tell stories. And of course, with the amount of experience that he has and anywhere that he's worked, anyone that he's worked with, he's got the notorious story with the Bulldogs. He's got the notorious story with Bret Hart. He's got working with Jimmy Hart. He's got, tag team and Intercontinental Championship reigns under his belt. You know,
Yeah.
he's worked in the NWA or WCW, WWE, all that good stuff, not to mention his whole history in his own home province of Quebec. So that's a pretty good story right there, all
Oh,
wrapped into one for $20.
oh yeah. All that. Yeah. Great
And
stuff.
simultaneously, while that is going on, you mentioned Dijak. I didn't mean to deter away from your original
Oh yeah.
question,
No,
but
but
in the arena where the events are being held, Dijak will actually have a private training session for those that are experienced. Obviously, there's going to be a fee with Dijak there for his time, his wisdom, his experience being just put on display to help anyone that's up and coming, already experienced themselves, or just want to train with Dijak to get that hour and a half, 2 hours with him, in a more personable setting. And, of course, they're going to be talking with them, asking them questions, but they're going to learn from the guy firsthand, which I think is pretty cool as well while the Q&A is going on. So if you're just a fan, or not just a fan, but if you're a fan and you want to go listen to Jacques, you can just literally 5 minutes away go listen to Jacques. If you're a trained athlete, you want to grab some tips and tricks from a veteran that's wrestled on bigger platforms, WWE, NXT, now in MLW, but all over the world. You have that opportunity as well before we head into event number two, which is a little bit more later on in the evening.
oh yeah. No, definitely a good opportunity for anybody, experienced to pick his brain for a little bit because I mean, a guy that's been on the platforms that he has, I mean, he's got a wealth of knowledge about everything and definitely and then I gravitate towards a lot of the intense personas. Dijak very much one of those. So definitely would be somebody that if I were experienced, I would not pass that up. Not one
Definitely
bit.
not.
Now, you mentioned before, we haven't had a ton of matches themselves announced, but there was a couple here between it was Tyler Arrow and hopefully I pronounced that right and
He's gonna hear
James.
it if you butcher it. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping I that's my thing. I feel awkward when I butcher up somebody's name, so it's like,
No, no, no. Don't worry about it. I've done it millions of times in my line
but
of work.
going up against James there, and a little bit of a you know teacher student vibe, but also got a little personal recently.
Very personal. James Masterson is a local boy right here from Simcoe, Ontario, so he should have a lot of support at this event. And anyone that has seen the past couple events that we've hosted, Stomping Grounds 2, our last one, our latest event in the summer, Hell or High Water, you'll see that this feud, this mutual respect that two athletes that used to be the student and mentor, obviously the student stepping out of the mentor's shadow, challenging for one more match after James was eliminated from a pre-show battle royal because he wanted to, test the waters, see what he had against modern day talent. Unfortunately, he came up third place in that battle royal, so he didn't quite win it. And then obviously Arrow winning his match later on in the night, and you know what, recognizing and calling out James to that one man he never beat 10 years ago. They had two matches. One, James, they drew in the first match. The second match, James actually won that match. So Tyler Arrow was never beat James Masterson, and Masterson refusing to step out of retirement because of the family that he has to look after, the son that he's taking care of, and being a role model for in everyday life. Doesn't permit him to get back in the ring. He has nothing to lose or nothing to gain getting back in the ring, I should say, where Tyler Arrow is now forced Mr. Masterson into a situation where, like you said, it's got really personal. At the last event, you know, Arrows mentioned James's son. James brought the championship that he took from Tyler Arrow with him on that last event, which I think ignited another new fire underneath Arrow to really heat this situation up and take it from a personal level to much more than what it actually is. And I
Oh,
was left with my hands tied and no choice but to give Tyler Arrow that wish. And we got to see them brawl
uh,
unexpectedly. We had security lined up for extra measures just in case anything like this got out of hand. But again, the feud between these two, the animosity, the the competitiveness, I should say, and the passion that both these athletes have got the better of security, and they got into a tussle. And
oh,
that's when I had to decide, you know what, October, it's do or die for Arrow and Masterson. Well, you know, it seems to be his retirement match.
yeah. And hey, what better way to go out and call it a career than with an intense match like that? I know when you mentioned about uh, mentioning his son, I'm like, oh boy, because I know me being relatively new father. My son's about 9 months old now, but I've known pretty much from that first moment I held him. I'm like, man, anybody even tries to come at him, I'm normally a giant teddy bear, but you'll turn me into a damn grizzly rather damn quick.
That's what
Going
happens.
going after my boy. So like I can
And
I can understand where this where the passion came at there, because it's like you you don't mess with the guy's family.
no, you don't. That's one of the things that you don't do. And Arrow went that route to pull something out of James that a lot of people in my opinion, in my mind, didn't think that James had left in him, but where they were wrong. They were definitely wrong because it's like you said, as soon as that matter, that subject came into verbiage and was echoed throughout the venue, in front of James's face, something snapped, and you know something that we haven't seen James in, like I said, around 10 years. That competitiveness came right back, just like he was riding a bike. He tackled Arrow down. He wanted something, and he got it. So October 25th, Clash on the Coast. There will be a clash, and it's going to be personal, and it's going to mean a lot more than just a former junior heavyweight championship or a light heavyweight championship. It's going to be more than just a match. It's going to be a grudge that's going to be finished once and for all. Either, Arrow remains um, winless against his former mentor, or finally he
Or he
can
finally
hopefully even the score once and for all and prove that the student has actually stepped out of the shadow and put himself in a position to be at a higher level than James was in his prime.
oh yeah, heck, just thinking about all of that, sometimes I go on some tangents here on the show, but that
That's
just
okay.
reminded me of a feud where somebody went winless up until the certain person was about to leave the promotion, that being Raven and Tommy Dreamer. This like that the whole story with the feud, and oh, he hasn't beat him, but yeah, it got me thinking about that. Tommy Dreamer, one of my another personal favorite of mine, is
Oh, for
like
sure. Raven
I
too.
I I would like to think with if I ever got to be in the ring, ever got to be a wrestler, that my style would be a mix of Tommy Dreamer and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Two of
There you
two
go.
of my absolute favorites.
Right.
So I mean, I don't think I'll ever get that chance to do that, but hey, cool to dream about it, right?
No, for sure.
Now,
Definitely. That's what wrestling's all about.
oh, for sure. Now, one thing, the champ is gonna be there, and I was I was looking at him, and his name, Pretty Ricky Wildly. I'm like,
Oh,
man,
I'll
man.
correct you on that one.
Oh wait, he's not the champ anymore.
No, he is the current Norfolk County Championship Wrestling heavyweight champion. His name is, I made the same mistake when I first met it and read his name as well, though. It's Pretty Ricky Wilde.
Wildy. Okay. Pretty Ricky Wildly. Well,
There we
it
go.
was going to be
Everyone
funny
makes that
because
mistake.
I was thinking, man, Wildly, that's like, holy crap. He looks wild. Like that would just
Yes.
fit.
Oh, he's something special. When you look at somebody that has it, Pretty Ricky has it. He has put himself in a situation where you don't know what you're going to get as a person, as a performer, as an athlete, someone inside the ring, outside the ring. It's very unpredictable, which I'm sure makes it very challenging for any one of his opponents that he's ever faced over the long years of him being a pro wrestler. His energy is through the roof. It's unmatched, in my opinion. A leader in the locker room, someone that you can rely on, as a friend, someone that you can come to for advice in terms of in ring, the psychology that he puts on during a match and the story he tells without using his words is absolutely phenomenal. He is a bit of a wild man, so I understand the name mix up. I made the same mistake first when I first met him,
Yeah,
but he corrected me properly, Wildy.
will be.
Which is great. But Pretty Ricky Wilde, he earned that heavyweight championship when he defeated former champion and only champion prior to Pretty Ricky Wilde was Hayden Backlund, who held that title
Mm,
for a full year. So when he dethroned Hayden Backlund at Stomping Grounds 2, it was actually this past May, on Mother's Day actually.
mm,
He That place exploding because they know that Ricky has put in the time, the effort, and he says Norfolk County is Ricky country. Well, he's damn well right because when he won that championship, not only did the people recognize that he earned it, he hoisted it high. They were on his shoulder. They were hoisting him, on his shoulders essentially, not physically, but
yeah. Oh
with the
yeah.
reaction, it was there. It
They
was
were
there for me
firmly
to see.
behind him.
They were definitely verbally behind him. And again, when they had the rematch this past August, the stipulation was if Hayden lost, he would never come back to NCCW. And Ricky had a lot of weight on his shoulders defending that title for the first time. We always say you're not a true champion unless you defend that title.
Mhm.
Well, he did it again. He overcame the odds. And it was a relaxed rules type of match. So anything was going. Anything went. Weapons, chairs. Nothing intense or nothing crazy because we do keep it family friendly and try to at
Yeah.
least. But that the emotion between those two athletes, there's an absolute grudge, a natural grudge there. And Ricky, going back to Ricky, he definitely deserves the position that he is in. And he has a lot of opportunity come October 25th at Clash on the Coast. As mentioned, the names that are on that card, any one of those guys potentially could challenge for the NCCW championship.
Mm.
Just hasn't been announced yet, but it will be soon.
Will be soon. Like, oh man, because every every bit of you describing him was just I'll even admit right spot on with everything that I thought about him just looking at him and seeing footage. I'm like, I had that sense about him, and you mentioned some of the names that are going to be there. Like, oh god, I mentioned Maclin. That would be a crazy match. EC3 and with all the experience, wealth, and championships that he's held, that would be something. And oh god, Dijak. But oh man, but endless possibilities.
There's a lot of depth there, a
Oh,
lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities. That again, like I said, we quite haven't got to mentioning to the public yet. We haven't even talked to Ricky about this yet. So he's got a challenge up ahead of him for October 25th. Like I said, Clash on the Coast. There's going to be a proper challenger for that title, and he might be defending it twice. He might be defending it once. We haven't quite got to him on that yet, but there's something big in the brewing and in the making for that title defense. And it's gonna when it happens, it's gonna be something very special. That I
Oh,
can guarantee.
I bet that definitely sounds awesome. Now, mentioned earlier, we were going to talk about some tag team wrestling. You guys have a thing going to crown the first ever NCCW tag team champions. You got, what is it, a handful of teams ready, raring to go to, be able to claim that first ever title, because you can only have that one chance to be that first one. Not everybody gets that.
History will be made.
History will
Um,
be made
like I
indeed.
said, the crowning of the, like you said as well, the crowning of the first ever inaugural NCCW Tag Team Champions. We kicked off the tournament earlier this year, back in May. The teams that wanted to be a part of it were a long, long list, and we had to collectively, creatively select the teams that we thought would be best fit for this tournament. And now that's no knock on anybody that didn't make that tournament, applied for, asked to be, or requested, because we know what it means to be the first. Like you said, you can't rewrite that. You are the first for a reason, and essentially, if you hold those tag team championships, you are the best. So very important to be a part of it. A lot of hard no's because we had so many people or teams apply to be in that tournament to want to win those tag team championships. But the teams that we did select were not only from our area of Ontario, they were from all over Ontario. They spread over into Quebec. We had teams from the United States coming up to challenge for them as well. So it was very, very important to make sure that they advanced. And again, at our last event, we've had two more teams advance. Excuse me, we're down to our final four now. And with two events in October, we will be crowning the first ever NCCW Tag Team Champions, and we will be ending this tournament in October. One of the teams is PME, the Philly and Marino Experience from Ohio. Fun guys. They love to party, but don't let the party confuse you with how talented they are in the ring. Don't let that trick you if you've never got a chance to see them. I believe they just recently did some work in ROH. They've been over Pro all up and down the United States. Anywhere you go, they've traveled into Hamilton, Ontario at Alpha One. They've come to NCCW, so they get around and they're making a name for themselves in quite the hurry. So it was great. It was great to see them advance. The hardworking guys that love to do what they do and put on one hell of a show. We also have Generation Now, a younger up and coming tag team, with a lot to prove against some of these veteran teams that did enter. And they remind me of a mix of Generation Me, who was originally the Young Bucks when they first kicked off and started, and a combination of maybe the Rockers. You can throw that mix in, the combination of the two.
Oh, okay.
So it was really cool, really fast-paced action, great teamwork for a team that doesn't have the experience as most teams normally would to be at that level. They advanced and they made it to the next round as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do and how they prove themselves in this tournament, especially against an experienced tag team like Dynasty. Dynasty, have held gold anywhere they've gone. So they are more than experienced, more than capable, more than ready to be the first NCCW Tag Team Champions. And they're an amazing team too. They get really well over with the crowd, and the teamwork is absolutely phenomenal. Like that old school style of tag team wrestling that I
Oh,
love
yeah.
and enjoyed. I'm
Oh,
sure you
yeah.
did as well.
Oh, totally.
And then of course the final team that made it through to the final four is known as KPK. Now they're normally a trio. One of them's Hertz, Abu
Mm.
and Ahmed and Haroon. These three guys are the number one faction, in my opinion, in all of Ontario. There are a few other members. We've just not had those members in NCCW. But capable of anything and everything they put their minds to. The talent is unlimited with these guys, and they come to prove a point, and they want to be number one. And in most cases, so far up until this career, anywhere they've gone, they have proven to be number one. Whether it be in the tag team, singles, faction, trios, it doesn't matter. These guys are out to prove a point, and they make that point very clear. And they don't just speak; they actually do it. They action what they say they're going to do. And it's going to be really exciting come October because you have all these different variants or these different variables coming into play and colliding with each other. But again, as we said, only one team can walk away with the tag team championship gold. So that is an exciting and a very proud moment for anyone that wins that match. Anyone that walks away with those tag team titles. And for NCCW, it makes a stand that, hey, we're not just about singles competition, but we want to premiere the tag team championships. We want to premiere top tag teams not only in Canada, Ontario, but of anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
Make it a focal point because, like you said, I loved tag team wrestling as well. When you look at or think of teams like the Heart Foundation, Demolition, you mentioned the Road Warriors earlier, or the LOD, as some people might know them as. My favorite tag team, the Midnight Express. You can go on and on and on. I mentioned the Rockers, you got the Strike Force, you got, so many amazing teams that just the Brainbusters, the Horsemen. You know what I mean? So you just keep on going on and on and on and on, especially in that 80s time frame, the late 80s
Oh
to
yeah.
early 90s. There were so many amazing teams, Bulldogs. You want to replicate that greatness and you want to leave a legacy like one of those teams, if not all of them, did. And we want to be able to give those tag teams the platform to do it here at Norfolk County Championship Wrestling.
Oh yeah. No, sounds like you guys are doing a good job at that. I mean, that final four alone, you got a mix of just about everything. You got, you know, team coming from the States, you got the youth, you got the old school style, you got the powerful faction in there. It's that one's gonna be something I'm gonna be keeping my eye on for sure because like I said, just a big fan of tag team wrestling pretty much my entire life. LOD, Horseman, going into the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, we
I
didn't even get to the Attitude Era.
oh God, we didn't even get yeah.
Modern day tag teams too.
Oh good lord, like the thing that I admire looking back on the Dudley Boys and how they just master of what they did was yes, you have wanting to sell merch and stuff, especially on the independents, but when you have somebody that's a heel, they're the bad guy. You want there. There's not many people out there now that take being the heel to the level where those guys did.
Oh, Bubba Ray Dudley's vicious.
Oh
He's
yeah.
still savage.
Oh, still, yeah. No, I definitely would not want to get on his bad side. I
No,
I've got to meet him once, and I just glad it was a good experience and that nobody had gotten on his bad side that night. Although it was at Sammy Callahan's promotion, Revolver. He
okay,
I went to a show and there was the actor Paul Walterhauser. He was in a match against Matt Cardona, and
okay.
he helped Paul Walterhauser put Matt Cardona through a flaming table.
Hmm,
Yeah, that was fun.
that's intense.
I was sitting like I wanted to say second, third row. I was close enough I could feel the heat off of that table.
Lose some arm hair.
Oh yeah. Now back on to Clash on the Coast. You've got a little bit of everything. You got the personal feud, you got the tag title situation going, you got your champ involved. You also got some what looks like going to be some potential great women's action going on. You got a handful not only regularly on your roster, but you're bringing in Jody Threat from TNA,
Yes, sir.
big, powerful talent in and of her own.
Definitely. We wanted the best of the best that were available for that date. We understand that not everyone can make it, not everyone can fit on the show, but a true representation of what Ontario Canadian women's wrestling is going through Jody Threat. The first name that came to mind on someone, that normally might not be able to make it to Norfolk County Championship Wrestling was Jody Threat, and I'm very, very ecstatic that she's coming in to showcase her skills, her abilities, her wisdom inside of that ring to our audience because it's going to be a real treat. Not only on one event, but two events all on the same day. So even more special at that focal point or that point with that given. But then we also have we mentioned talent from all over the United
Yeah.
States, Canada, different parts of Canada into Quebec and stuff like that. But we have another female by the name of Kingsley who's taken
Nice.
Canada by storm, coming all the way from Australia. I highly recommend checking out her entrance. A lot of people, you hear that song. Maybe you shouldn't though. You hear the song, and it literally sticks in your head for days, weeks, months. I'm still
We
listening
all
to
have those
that,
songs.
right? That entrance, and she sings. So she's multi-talented, not only in ring but outside of the ring as well, and a great mind for the business. She's wrestled all over Australia, become a champion anywhere normally where she's wrestled for. And again, that's the goal for her here at NCCW is eventually in the next couple of shows. We've already started the planning to see who our top female contenders are for the first ever women's championship
Ooh.
title that NCCW is going to be offering up real soon. Hint, hint. And she definitely fits the bill for qualified talent that could be competing for that championship. She proved it on our last event by squeaking out a win. It was between Leah Sparks out of Montreal, an amazing up and comer by the name of Wanda Del Rey, who hit her finisher on Leah, and there was Kingsley to steal the win. Um, more news on Wanda and Kingsley potentially down the road as well, coming up for October. Not to give anything away, finalize anything like that, or officially say anything, but keep your eye out on that story, on that development as well. But yeah, there's so many talented, gifted athletes in the women's division. These women are also wrestling men too. Back in the day, that might have been taboo, but in modern day, everyone's competing against everybody, and they're proving just why they're on an equal level and plane, which is amazing for the business, amazing for the talent, amazing for the unlimited opportunities that each and every individual athlete is getting. And they fought hard for that equal right, and they fought hard for that opportunity. So more power to them. And I'm proud to present. As many women matches on any event that we ever host here in Norfolk County, to give them the same platform and opportunities as everybody else. And they've earned it. Like I said, they
Oh
proved
yeah.
that they do amazingly well. So I'm
Oh
excited
yeah.
for that growth.
Oh, I'm definitely excited for it myself. I know uh, I've talked with a few different people how um, when it comes to you mentioned also wrestling the guys, the intergender matches that like every genre subgenre of wrestling, there's supporters, there's detractors, there's people that don't like the intergender stuff. But the way I think about it is, you want everybody wants that equality, the equal footing. And what better way to go about doing that than if you have two people, regardless of what gender they are, two people that can go and you boom, there you go. You got a match.
And whoever comes up short in that match, props to both of them because they're getting in the ring, which most people would never do in the first place. So if you're
True.
giving them the opportunity and they are more than willing to take that opportunity and run with it, even if they come up short in the match, there's no loss there. In my opinion, my
Oh
mind.
yeah. No, very much so because yeah, there's that old saying that those rings they're not trampolines. I
No,
I've helped set up a few and like I know the inner of everything of how it goes together like a puzzle and how it's literally steel beams with wood planks on them and then maybe a very thin padding. Like that padding is not thick. And there might be a
Oh,
little bounce from, the flexibility of the steel beam or whatever, but I've taken a couple bumps, and yeah, I was walking funny for about a week. So yeah, I
right.
I know from the little bit of experience that I've been able to have that, yeah, anybody that can willingly go in there and throw their body on the line and have literally on the line, because good lord, those bumps, I hear a lot about how it's like a car crash, multiple times in a match. So hey,
Right,
more
definitely.
all the respect to everybody in there. Now, there was a guy that I've seen some stuff for, and he was on another list of the talent that you mentioned that was going to be there. Trey Lamar.
Trey Lamar, yes. Yeah, Trey Lamar is gifted, talented. He's been around the block as well. Some people might remember him or recognize him from AEW television, some of their programming, but also Njpw is another prime promotion just across the Lake Erie, where we're from. So Trey Lamar came into our last event, had an amazing match. Came up a little bit short against Abu from KPK, but what a hell of an athlete. Busy man, I will say that much. Communicating with them outside of the ring and up to the show may be a little difficult, but that just tells you how busy he is.
Hey,
And you know what? You have to respect the hustle. You have to respect
for
his work
sure.
ethic. You have to respect the talent that he brings to each and every match and the drive and everything that he does. So a lot of respect to Trey Lamar, and we're excited to have him back in October to be a part of this double event day, which is very special. He just adds more flavor
Mm.
to the already amazing recipe
Oh
that
yeah,
was going on that day.
yeah. You guys already before that have one hell of an event where you got some matches that are announced, some that can be expected, but you got even more to come, and it's just gonna, with everybody involved, from the big names to your champions and the great women's action. I am gonna be rearing to tune into this. Now, before we go, I do have some random questions
Awesome.
that
I
I
love shoot
I
questions.
ask everybody when they first come on. It's different questions, but some wrestling related, some not. Some have nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Perfect.
So, first one. So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head. First one, craziest in match moment that you have personally witnessed.
Um, I've got two actually. So the first one that I've ever experienced myself was getting put through a door.
Ooh,
Um, that was after I was having a feud, to put it in context, with a gentleman by the name of Wade Allen, who originally wasn't booked for our first inaugural event, 2024 in April. Snuck into the main event. Um, basically handed a win, or partially handed a win, to our first ever crown champion, Hayden Backlund, who seized the opportunity to win that championship in that match. It was a multi-man match. And Wade and I had it out where, you know what, I had to bring in somebody by the name of PD Skills to take Wade out to prevent him from interfering in NCCW events. The following event, it was a no DQ match. Wade, again, because of his persistency and his desire to be a part of NCCW and take over Norfolk County, overcame the odds. And my deal was to offer him an NCCW contract. I handed him, actually, false alarm. I didn't hand him a contract. I dropped it at his feet, and that was a big no-no. Of course, I was frustrated at the time, but he took that as a major insult, rightfully so. I deserved it. And he picked me up and DVD'd me through a door that was leaning up in the corner. So that was the most craziest experience I've ever gone through.
For you personally, yeah.
For me personally, now one of the weirdest experiences that I saw was actually at the last event. I've never seen a hot dog be used in
Saw that video.
a match. And that was our heavyweight championship match between Hayden Maclin and Pretty Ricky Wilde. And Hayden decided to go over to our amazing friends over at Able Enterprises booth, grab a glizzy, as they say in the States, and whack Pretty Ricky in the head with it. And then when it snapped in half and Ricky wandered away to try to get away back in the ring, I believe Hayden wound up threw a fastball and I think it hit a fan off the shoulder, ended up dropping on Ricky's head yet again. So amazing pitch.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say, good
I've never
shot
seen
there.
that happen in a wrestling match ever in my life, and it just happened to be at an NCCW event.
Hey, yeah, no, that was literally just a little before we recorded. Was watching that video, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay,
we
that's
try to we try to base ourselves off of being a territory and beer wrestling and stuff like that. But sometimes, when things are very personal and things get emotional,
oh
things
yeah,
might get out of hand a little bit. And in that case, that was one of those scenarios where you get to see something special happen with NCCW that doesn't regularly happen.
oh for sure.
That's for sure.
I'm just like, I remember I actually posted a comment on the it was on Instagram where I saw it, where I posted a video. It might have been from the movie Sausage Party, where the hot dog's running down the hall like, ah!
Yeah.
I posted that in the comments of that video. I'm like, that is too funny.
Yeah, hey, I'll never forget it. And I can only imagine what the commentary was looking and calling when this happened.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
those were my two craziest experiences.
oh yeah, no, they that would definitely fit. You don't really see you see a lot of things getting used as weapons anymore.
Everything
I've
but the
I've,
kitchen
jo-
sink.
I, I've joked with people that their matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot,
Right?
but you never think in that of a hot dog being
Mm-mm.
used.
Now we're getting into Costco.
Oh yeah, now in the
Throwing
Costco,
hot dogs.
yeah, yeah, but yeah. Although, from what I remember, yeah, the Costco hot dogs are pretty, yeah,
They're pretty foot longish. They're like
foot
two
long.
feet.
That one at that show wasn't really foot
No.
longish.
No, it was standard. It was standard.
Standard, yeah.
Hayden wasn't packing. No, I'm just joking.
Oh
He's
man,
gonna
I've
he's gonna put me through a door now.
no man. Well, I heck, I've been wanting to do a little more commentary. I'm getting an opportunity, but the one time I did so far, yeah, I oh man, talking about a crazy personal story involving wrestling. I I was on commentary for a show, and they were talking in the ring on the ring announcers about the second show, because it was a debut show, and my commentary partner mentioned about, oh, it sounds like a solid second show, and I'm like, light bulb. I'm like, oh, you do not, like, I am the type that you do not give me an opening for a joke and expect me not to take it,
Right?
because I immediately, without missing a beat, just said, yeah, because nobody likes a runny number two. And he had to stop for like a solid minute because he was
Yeah.
laughing too hard.
I
And it's like that.
expect probably too.
My energy that I bring on commentary is the same as if I was just sitting out in the crowd. Like, when I'm in the crowd, I'm trying to get somebody to crack.
Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
it's whether
Right?
it's fellow people in the audience, whether it's a wrestler, referee, photographer, somebody. I'm getting somebody to crack. Heck, if I'm on commentary, I'm doing the same dang thing.
Right?
Oh heck,
It's just it's having fun when you're out there, right?
oh yeah,
It's
heck,
work, but it can be fun.
oh yeah. No, I've actually gotten Mike Bennett in a match once. It was right after the whole Undisputed Kingdom really got started, and
Right?
Roderick Strong would just randomly yell out, "Adam!"
Yep. Yep.
There was a moment the crowd had just died down, and I just yelled out, "Adam!" And you could see him looking down like he was trying to hide it, but it was like he looked like he was mouthing, "You son of a."
Right.
And he told me after the show that I popped the hell out of him, and I'm like, yeah. But as far as other stuff that I've like personally watched, you might remember AEW Dynamite earlier this year. It was still winter because it was freaking freezing, but they were actually here in Omaha, Nebraska,
Oh wow.
and my wife got me tickets to the show, third row, right by the entrance.
Very nice.
And you might remember the now infamous match that happened that night, the Adam Copeland John Moxley street fight
Right?
with the nail board thing.
Yes.
That happened right in front of me. And like I got a clip that literally went to like 12,000 views in 24 hours, where like you could literally see like pulling, like
Oh.
the nails were trying to hold on to his skin. Oh. Like my back winced when he actually landed on the nails. I'm like, get out.
Oh. Oh yeah. Definitely. That's a natural reaction too. And I, like I said, NCCW is more of a territorial based program. A lot of people think just pure talent, pure wrestling inside the ring, like that. If you look back at Memphis, there was some crazy stuff too that happened
Oh, Memphis, yeah.
nonstop. When they were in a feud, they were in a feud. And a lot of people think territory wrestling boring, bland, whatever it may be. Oh
Oh,
no, watch the real stuff from the territory days. And you
oh
go to
yeah.
World Class, or you go to Memphis, or you go around the board or the map, I should say. And to each territory, they all had their special moments where the stuff that we see today. It it's so common. It's just a regular part of programming now for a lot of promotion. It's watered down, in my opinion. It's not special anymore or anything like that, despite what's going on between the two athletes. Doesn't matter how much of a feud they might be in or how much hatred there might be. It just doesn't do anything for me anymore, because it's so overwatered down. Now, if you go back and watch it back then, it meant something.
Oh
There
yeah.
was there was a point to it, in my opinion. There was a reasoning behind where they would get to that point where bloody murder was it was almost going to happen right in front of your eyes, whether you were there live or watching on a video or TV or whatever it may have been. And again, like I said today, it just doesn't. That shock value is gone, and I don't blame the Attitude Era as much as I blame ECW for that type of thing. But at the time, I watched a lot of ECW, so you don't realize it until you get to modern day again. And you're like, well, if that guy went through three tables, one of them was on fire. He's got, an elbow drop off the top rope when Buddy had the barbed wire wrapped around him with three chairs lying on him. If he kicks out of that, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
I
then you
get
see you see somebody take a DDT and get pinned, and it's like, well, it kind of got watered down in my opinion, but I can imagine that being a really intense situation still live and
Oh
seeing,
yeah.
like you said, my back just thinking about it winces, and like you can almost feel the nails coming out of your back when
Yeah.
when you see something like that on TV, or in your case, up close and personally, very live, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That was something else being there in person, because the roads were almost shut down that day because there was a near blizzard going
Oh
on.
wow.
But
Okay.
I was like, they would have to literally shut down the whole town before I would lose my opportunity to get to sit that close at a nationally televised wrestling show.
Right.
Like that doesn't happen very often anymore. So when I get the opportunity, oh, come hell or high water, much like the name of past show of yours, I'm taking. Oh, now behind me here, I have displayed some of my hobbies: big figure autograph collecting. What is a hobby of yours outside of everything, because I know promoting and running a wrestling show definitely takes up a lot of time.
Especially when you're married.
It's very true.
You're balancing, your married life, your work life. If you have a shoe job, which I do, I work in insurance. So if anyone needs any, you know who to go. No, I just, I work for cooperators, from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, running a promotion, doing all the behind the scenes, things that, are required to make sure that the show runs as smoothly as possible, delegating whatever it may be, and of course physically groundwork for promotion and stuff like that. It does take up a lot of time. But one things that I love to do, most of them I love to do with my wife. Um, she takes my mind off of everything else, the things that, might be considered work or anything that, I have to do to prepare for events, whatever it may be. It could be something as simple as just going for ice cream. It could be something as simple as cooking dinner together. It could be something as simple as potentially going to a movie theater or whatever it may be. But just relaxing with my wife is probably my favorite thing to do
Oh,
outside of those three things that I have to do on a day-to-day basis,
oh yeah.
and just getting to spend time with her. It's where it's at right now, especially at 40. I'm just like, what, I don't have to be young, loose, and wild like I used to be in my 20s, traveling all over the world. Now I do love to travel. I love to go interact with different cultures. I love to experience what they experience, the best to my ability, whether it be foods, learning language, whatever it may be, customs, traditions, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Spending other than spending time with my wife, Sunday day football, NFL. I'm from Canada. I don't like watching the CFL 'cause to me it's not real football. Probably gonna get a lot of backlash on that, but American football is where it's at. Um, I'm sure you'll agree.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Watching football and that's pretty much it. I'm pretty easy going now. I used to like I said, I used to do a lot of traveling, exploring the world and stuff like that. Now that I've done a lot of that, and now that I'm married and stuff like that, it's just nice to relax and chill, watch a program that we enjoy together, annoy each other in a friendly manner. Is always a fun habit or something to do as well, and it goes both ways. And of
No,
course,
yeah.
making food, eating food, whatever it may be, the seafood diet, is in effect. And of course, I love my documentaries too. So
Mm,
wrestling documentaries are the primary source of entertainment when I'm in bed, prior to going to sleep or, getting to that point. But when I'm winding down, I'm listening to Jim Cornette. He's as I say, my Lord and Savior, Jim Cornette, or JC, in a non-religious way, my wrestling religious way. Religiously listen to him. So that's my go-to, and I like some other podcasts out there too. Like you said, we mentioned Dark Side of the Ring, that sort of thing. So those are small things that I like to do outside of everything that I do on a regular basis.
no, I get you there. I know. Oh boy, my wife and I, when it comes to college football, we root for the same team.
Mm.
But when it comes to pro, no, I'm
Hmm.
we
She
don't.
watches football?
She does,
Oh, see, mine hates it.
but when it comes to NFL, I've been pretty much, for the most part, a lifelong Green Bay Packer fan.
Oh, you
I've
surprised
been
me with that.
I've been just for as far as I can remember, and I've only ever actually been to three games. One was down in Kansas City because that's like 2.5 hours from me.
I love
My
Kansas
my
City.
my wife, from the first birthday I had, when after we met, she surprised me with tickets to the Packers Chiefs preseason game that season. So I got to go to that. They
Very
didn't.
cool.
My dad actually surprised me one time because he was like, "So I hear you want to go to a Packer game." I'm like, "It's only been on my bucket list for like ever."
Ever.
So it was towards the end of the season. I actually got to go to my first game at Lambeau Field.
Very cool.
That was something. It actually ended up being Aaron Rodgers' last as a Packer.
Oh wow, okay.
That was something.
I don't speak of Aaron Rodgers anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm a
But
Jets fan,
oh yeah, no, even
so
more so
he
there.
he rubbed the wrong way last year, and he
Yeah,
had to beat us on opening day. So
yeah.
I'm
Then
this is a non Aaron Rodgers household.
oh yeah, no, no. I it pains me because he used to be a favorite of mine. Now with the way he left Green Bay, I'm like, there was a point where I was like, dude, just let him leave. But I actually got a couple years ago, got to go to a game New Year's Eve, Packers Vikings up
Oh,
in
okay.
Minnesota. That was fun. They
Very
actually
cool.
won that game, so
Oh,
I've
nice.
got to see him win once.
Right? No, for sure. I've only
But
been to a couple NFL games up here in Canada, actually, when the Bills came up here to Toronto.
oh yeah,
I'm about 2 hours away from Toronto. So going to Toronto to watch the Bills and Seahawks, the first time they ever did a Canadian NFL game, and the Seahawks crushed, I believe they, I can't remember. I think, yeah, they crushed Buffalo that
mm,
game. And then it was Buffalo and somebody else. And I think Buffalo won that game. But I've actually never been to an NFL game in the States, and I hear that's the ultimate goal. I have to go to MetLife at
mm.
least once, experience the U.S. tailgating tradition, which is completely different up here in Canada. You go to
Oh,
a
it's
CFL
something
game,
else down
it's
here.
oh, that's
Their
exactly.
stadium.
It's a whole event itself, right? So
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen it. I've witnessed I've heard about it. I know people that have done it. And now I have to experience that. And
mm.
my objective, like you said, for years was to go to Lambeau Field. My goal is to go to MetLife.
Hey.
Definitely not for the Giants, but for the Jets, as I mentioned
Yeah,
earlier.
for the Jets, we got to make that clear because yeah, they both use that facility. Yeah,
Exactly, by all means, for sure. But yeah, I love the NFL, and I don't mind going to the CFL live. I'd go to watch the Hamilton Ticats with a good friend of mine, but not preferred
okay.
whatsoever.
But I was looking back here, and I actually got a little memento from my first ever
Game?
game at Lambeau, a bobblehead of my favorite Green Bay Packer ever, the late great Reggie White.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
my
cool.
like I was going around looking for something, and I just remembered, well, bobblehead that'd be fun. And my dad knew from pointing out something that Reggie White was my all-time favorite, and he's like, "Oh, you want a Reggie White one? There's one right there." I'm like, "Okay, that's mine."
Deal? Yeah, so
No, yeah, totally. Now, on to the next question here. Everybody has a favorite food.
oh, food.
I'm more concerned this one about your least favorite.
Oh,
Like one that it's
least
like, you know
favorite.
what? Don't even put that on my plate.
Liver and onions.
Yeah, that would no, yeah, would
That's
that,
a complete throw off. That just even just thinking about it makes me want to vomit. To be honest, but that's liver. Something. It's just the texture, the smell, the whole
yeah,
thing.
the texture
No,
thing.
thank you. Or even next would be like beans. I don't do beans and wieners or hot dogs. Um, that I don't do hot dogs.
Hey,
Beans and liver and onions. No way, shape, or form could anyone pay me enough. Do anything to make me want to eat any of those three. By all
yeah,
means, out the window, done.
no, I can get you there. I know for me, a couple of mine is kind of a texture thing.
Hmm.
I I can't stand peas by themselves. Like
Okay.
if they're mixed in with something, it's like okay, I got
Like a
other stuff
carrot,
in
corn,
there to
peas,
kind of
okay.
take care of the texture side of it, but just peas by themselves, I'm like just the pure mushy, like no, I don't want it. And then deviled eggs,
I can't do eggs either.
scrambled eggs. I've learned I can do. I learned that in the Navy
Right.
that like I mix in like they would mix in stuff with it. I'm like okay, I can do that, but deviled eggs. It's just like it's a texture thing for me because the one time my family actually got me to eat one,
Mm.
I almost immediately wanted to throw up.
Yep.
Like I
Yes,
immediately
the way you
gagged, and I
hold
was
it and it's that jelly feeling and the yellow oh, no, no, thank you. No, I can't do eggs at all. I make eggs um quite often for my wife, my other half, and I make them scrambled, like you said, or I try to make her an omelet. But I personally don't eat them.
yeah, no. But I for the longest time I wouldn't touch eggs at all, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's all right though. She eats
Now,
the scrambled eggs. I eat the bacon. Boom, it's a done deal. It's a fair trade.
hey, I get it, get you there. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I feel like I have to ask this one. Favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise? Because I know there's plenty of people out there that don't drink alcohol, although I know you do because I just saw before we got started, you brought one in. So
I should have had a can of pop here, and I could have. What are you talking about? This is a Pepsi. No, no, it's I like to think of myself as a professional bull rider, but it's actually just PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. One of my favorite go-to beers. Easy, simple, cheap. Boom, can't go wrong.
no,
Definitely enjoy that. Non-alcoholic. I love my iced tea. Long Island or not, but we say non-alcoholic, so can't go wrong with that. And of course, I love red and white wine with dinner, depending on what I'm having to pair it with.
no, no, nice. I know me more of a beer guy when it comes to alcohol. I do. This isn't really available near me, but Stone Cold's Broken Skull American
Okay.
Lager, freaking delicious.
I love a mojito too.
Oh, the mojitos are good.
They're
I
too
do,
good.
I do. When it comes to liquor, more of a whiskey tequila guy. Like I whiskey Coke or I love a good margarita as much as anybody. I got a couple tequilas that I personally own that is like you put that stuff in a margarita, you got to be careful.
Right?
That stuff's so damn smooth. You barely be able to tell there's alcohol in it.
Next thing you know, you're down to the worm.
You're down to the worm and on the whole one tequila, two tequila, three tequila floor. Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty much the case.
What you're saying is you can multiply it by four and get 16 real
Yeah,
quick.
I like your thinking. All right, now last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling,
Run
like
away.
something
No,
that
I'm
you
just joking.
look.
No, I'm just joking. It depends on what you want to do. Obviously, I'm not an athlete in the ring. I'm not a performer. But when it comes to behind the scenes, one thing I remember being told by somebody that was running a promotion a lot longer than I ever have, was to learn to delegate. Surround yourself with right-minded people. Wrestling can be a very selfish business inside the ring and outside the ring. Look for those people that you can lean on and trust that are non-selfish, that are selfless, essentially. They don't have those hidden agendas. They want to make sure that, yes, they are a part of it. They might throw in their opinion, but that's all it is an opinion. And it's only to better the product that you're looking to present and put on.
Oh,
In the experience overall, not only for the people that are attending, but the athletes that you're bringing in for the event as well. Going
oh yeah,
all with the people that you're renting the venue from, treat it like your home. There's little fine details that I think get missed or misunderstood when you're running a promotion. You don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to know everything either.
oh yeah,
And I think that's a lot of people's problems. I see it in modern day. And I'll throw him under the bus, but you can see that, at one point in his life, Tony Khan, on a
mm,
large scale, got the idea in his head because he was capable due to finances that were available to him, and because he was a massive fan, just like each and every one of us,
yeah,
wanted to put on a wrestling show. He did this, and now he's running a company that's lasted what, 5 years, 6 years? And a lot of speculation is that for the majority of the time that he's ran this company, he's been doing a lot of things on his own. Now, I only do mine on a regional, small level.
oh, we
That level.
okay.
So
You
my advice. my advice would be to surround yourself with people that aren't selfish, that have your
Yeah.
best interest, people that you can trust, can lean on, that are stronger in specific areas than you are, because you might have all the ideas, but you might not be able to execute them without
Mm.
those people. So
Yeah.
don't try to do everything on your own.
Oh yeah.
Stay true to your mission statement on what you want to do when you create this promotion and you run it. If you say you're for Norfolk, by Norfolk, you better back that up each and every event, and you better reflect that in terms of the progression, the economical ticket sales, economical merch, cater your brand to what your surrounding is, and that is Norfolk County, and be what you say you are.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people
For
can lose
sure.
track and get overexcited, and we hear the term mark for themselves, and they think up here when really they should be down on a more humble level.
Yeah.
Carried away really too fast, and that's easy to happen in any field, any type of entertainment, whether you're a
Oh yeah.
promoter or performer. But I think that the
For
key
sure.
is to have those people surrounded by you that can keep you on that level plane, keep you guided and organized, because if they're that close to you and they're working with you, they also know what the mission statement is. They also know what the goal is. They also know what the brand is about and what it needs to be to keep it on track and to keep everything running smoothly and efficiently and the best way possible it could be for that time. And then you watch the growth happen.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's my advice. Again, you can't do everything on your own, and surround yourself with people that have the best
True.
interest for not only the company but you as well.
No, for sure. Now, yeah, no, all great advice because I mean, there's been plenty of instances throughout wrestling of people not really delegating and it kind of backfiring on them. So when you have a good team behind you that you can trust that will help guide along the route that you're wanting it to go, great thing to have for sure.
I can use this as an example. Ric Flair had Arn Anderson. Vince McMahon had Pat Patterson. The Midnight Express had Jim Cornette. You had, Jimmy Hart. Hulk Hogan had Jimmy Hart. Just a lot of examples of where you can't do everything on your own, and it's always good to have that person next to you or people around you that just have, the same goal, understand what you are actually trying to do, accomplish, and how to properly get there, and
For
not put
sure.
yourself in a position where you put your foot in your mouth
Oh yeah.
frequently. It
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Don't
We're allowed to make
as
mistakes, but you learn
as
from
few times as possible. Now, where can people find Norfolk
them.
County?
It's a tongue twister
It's a
for you.
tongue twister. Norfolk County
My God.
Championship Wrestling on social media. So if they don't already have their eyes on you guys and this show coming up in October, they can go ahead and get them there.
So on Facebook and YouTube, you just type in Norfolk County Championship Wrestling. You can even go to cagematch.net, look at our previous results and events that we've held, when we've held them, who's competed on them, all that good stuff. That way you can get yourself up to date on a quicker time frame rather than watching every event and every match. Now, we're not discouraging not to go to YouTube and watch that because they are highly, highly entertaining matches, segments, promos, get to know our talent a little bit more in depth as well that way. But Facebook, Norfolk County Championship Wrestling, easy to find our page. Eventbrite, if you want tickets for Clash on the Coast, October 25th. The extravaganza, I won't say stupendous, that was used for WrestleMania a couple years ago, but a major event, the biggest live event that Norfolk County Championship Wrestling has ever hosted, the biggest event that Norfolk County has seen in terms of live professional wrestling in a long, 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 long time. Instagram, you can find us at Norfolk Wrestling. We'll keep it short, sweet right there. Find all of our match announcements, talent announcements, promos from talent that are going to be competing on upcoming shows and everything that we've done in the past as well, easily through any one of those social media handles or platforms. We keep it really simple. No website. Just go onto your simple platform that you already have or application that you already have, and you can easily find us with those Norfolk County Championship Wrestling handles or at Norfolk Wrestling handle on Instagram.
We will get all of that in the description. Want
So
to
you
thank you.
mentioned doing commentary, and sorry to interrupt you. You
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
doing commentary. I couldn't do commentary. I have a feeling that my delivery is just it's too fast. And you notice it when you're talking about something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at my shoot job, my insurance job and stuff like that, I do talk a little bit faster as well because again, I'm very passionate about what I do. But when it comes to wrestling, I can really see that it speeds up. Um, and I can never, you mentioned doing commentary, which is a really hard position to do, and to maintain and keep up with all the action, even though it is fast paced. There's a time and place to slow things down so
Yeah.
the listener can enjoy what is being shown in
Yeah.
front of them. So hopefully anyone that checks out this episode, hopefully you can still enjoy the segment with me coming on as fast as I do talk. Amazing host, Big Mo. Thank you very much again for having me on,
You.
and greatly appreciated the opportunity to share information regarding something that I'm very passionate about, and that is Norfolk County Championship Wrestling.
Definitely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me tonight. I could definitely sense your passion for your product, which I love it. I respect the heck out of it. I can't wait to see what comes from Clash on the Coast and everything beyond that. But that is about all I have. You're welcome back anytime because I mean, I'm sure we'll have more events to go over in the future.
I love to talk about my events, but I love to talk about wrestling in general. So even if you want to invite me back for something that's non-NCCW related, more than happy to do so and just have that awesome conversation like we did
Right?
tonight regarding anything and everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. We're from two different worlds. In terms of you being from the United States, me being from Canada, so it's a little bit of a different there on what I get to see on a regular basis versus what you get to attend and see on a regular basis. In
Well,
terms of a national or global standpoint, it's quite similar because we now have the availability to watch anything and
yeah.
everything. We mentioned before, I was more up north, you were more down south. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
anytime, any place, make availability, doesn't matter, just to talk about something that we're both passionate about, something that we both love, and that is professional wrestling. So thank you very
Definitely.
much again, Big Mo. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I might issue with a stinking button, see if I actually